Hi, my name is Alberto Arias. I'm the co-chair of Largo Incorporated. Largo is the largest primary vanadium producer in the world. We have the highest major quality vanadium mine in Brazil. And we also have a battery business with the recent acquisition in late 2020 of a battery business in the United States. We have recently announced the creation of Largo Physical Vanadium Company, which we think will have a profound impact in the competitiveness of our battery business and also a profound impact in the supply-demand fundamentals for vanadium. With that, I would like to introduce Paulo, the President and CEO of Largo Inc.
Thank you very much, Alberto. It's a pleasure to be here, having the opportunity to talk about Largo. I think it's a very good talk to you.
Lovely to meet you, Paulo and Alberto. We spoke to this company a couple of times over the past couple of years, and I thought it's time for a catch-up. And when we were sort of researching, see what you guys have done since we last saw you, we've seen this word transition a lot. And from a vanadium miner down into something else. And what I'm intrigued by is, what is that something else that you're trying to be? And I don't know, Paulo, if you want to pick that up.
Yeah, we have been, over the 7 years that we are producing vanadium, the best company of vanadium. We produce, we sell it. We are one of the 2 companies that supply the aerospace industry. So we have been very successful on the vanadium market. And as an additional step, we launched the VRFB company in US by the end of 2020. That's an incredible opportunity to add more value to Largo. So we will deploy vanadium on the batteries and provide an opportunity for the world to have 100% of the renewable energy being used for the whole, for the whole day. So that's the opportunity we are providing to create more value for Largo and have a great proposition, which is help for the energy transition.
But I want to understand why, though. The why bit is really important, because you're successful in the vanadium mining. Vanadium pricing, slightly erratic, to say the least. And obviously mining gets a certain type of multiple, certain type of valuation. Is this part of a desire to continue a growth story, or is it purely because you think the opportunity really lies entirely on the VRFB battery technology being taken up and incorporated globally? I mean, what was the problem you were trying to solve?
Regarding the energy transition, the problem we're going to solve is how to storage energy. The renewable energy. That's a must going forward. As much the solar generation increase its participation on the grid. So we saw that we have an opportunity to contribute with the energy transition solution, providing a great solution for the long duration stored energy. But we're not giving up of the vanadium market. In fact, we'll have 2 businesses, producing and selling vanadium, which we're going to keep doing, and we're going to provide the battery, which vanadium deployed on this battery will not be sold. So it's both business can behave together, can keep generating value for Largo, and it's just an addition for our business.
Right. So you want to become an energy storage company which has a mine rather than a mine that has an energy storage business. Is that right?
We have a mine that we produce and have very successful, the best grade, best quality, very low cost, one of the lowest in the world. And we will keep generating the operational margin with the vanadium sales. If you look at the margin today, operational margin today, the price is $11.45. Our cost, according to the guidance 2022, is $3.30. So it's a huge margin. We're gonna keep selling our vanadium. And you should ask yourself, how are you going to sell the vanadium and use in a battery? But that's the beauty of our strategy. We will sell our vanadium to a company which calls LPV. We are just launching it, which is going to work as an ETF. Every investor would like to expose for the vanadium price, as vanadium is one of the most strategic metals for the new economy being applied on the energy transition. So it's a very promising market for vanadium. So all the investors that would like to invest in vanadium, they can invest on LPV. So LPV will build a huge inventory of vanadium, buying the market from Largo or for any other producer.
Right. So I need to kind of simplify this for some people that perhaps haven't, been exposed to the story. So LPV is the Largo Physical Vanadium Corp, okay, which is an ETF which you guys have created. It's a well-known model, I guess, but there isn't one for vanadium at the moment. But you need to explain again for the uninitiated. The conversation of old used to be that vanadium redox flow batteries, VRFB batteries, would utilize vanadium, but that vanadium could be reused when the batteries can be stripped down and the vanadium can be recovered and reused. From that sense, renewable. And the idea previously, and I think lots of vanadium companies have talk about this idea, is of leasing the vanadium to the battery manufacturers. So what your USP is, you're saying, well, we're inserting LPV, Largo Physical Uranium, into the mix here, and we can create our own ecosystem which we manage and monetize. Is it something like that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think we have come up with an innovative solution to what used to be the biggest problem of the vanadium redox flow battery. And this is a situation that we as a producer had looked for years. We see the vanadium redox flow batteries as a key customer for us that has a great growth potential. And it was clear that some of these companies could not withstand the price of vanadium or the volatility of vanadium. So we, for years, talked with them about how to solve their problem. And that's the role of a leader in a commodity like vanadium. So our view was that there were two solutions. Either it's vertical integration, which basically, if you are a vertically integrated company, you are being isolated from these fluctuations on prices. But then there was another solution, which was create a financial intermediary that would be acting as an ETF, bringing investors that would like to have exposure on the price of vanadium, that they could actually lease this material to their customer. So that's what basically, once Largo took the strategic step of buying one of these technologies and going into the battery business, we analyzed it further and we thought it's not just vertical integration, but it's also the creation of this financial intermediary. So what we have done is we have created this company that is an independent company that would be the owner of the vanadium forever, pretty much. And rather than just other ETFs like uranium ETF that is basically holding the units of metal, this is created because you could actually store some of these vanadium units in vanadium redox flow batteries. So from that perspective, we are creating a symbiotic relationship between the mining business of Largo, the battery business of Largo, and this ETF-like company that we have created. And in doing so, we have made a major impact in reducing the cost for the battery customers because they do not need to own the vanadium anymore, and they don't need to worry about the volatility price of vanadium at all. From the perspective of Largo, it's beneficial because the supply-demand fundamentals of vanadium should improve by having this physical vanadium company buying material for the batteries. So it is fascinating to put it together and solve a problem that the industry has.
Really interesting. And what do your shareholders gain?
Well, I think when you think about Largo, you should think about two pillars. You've got the pillar of vanadium supply, and you get the pillar of the battery business. Both pillars are going to benefit from this development. So they are on the mining pillar or the vanadium supply pillar. We think that we are improving the supply and demand fundamentals for vanadium, and therefore we're going to make that pillar much more valuable, because we believe that it could have a positive impact on the application of vanadium into the battery space, so that should be good for the industry. On the battery space, it's fascinating because historically, higher prices of vanadium meant that it was bad for vanadium redox flow battery, not for Largo's redox flow batteries. Our battery business is completely isolated from the problems of higher vanadium prices. So I think that on both sides of our strategy, there's going to be value creation for Largo shareholders.
Okay. Let's go on, because I like to think there's so much detail to cover. I'm not going to do it in today's session. I will do deeper dives later on. So I want to kind of keep this kind of high level so people can, access it and feel comfortable around it. So let's move on to the battery side of stuff, the energy storage business. You talk about VCharge as a brand there. Talk to me about the technology, because obviously we saw a kind of press release sort of middle of last year about a contract with Enel Green Power in Spain. Where is this? Because it's early days for VRFB. There's lots of people claiming lots of different solutions. So where are you with yours?
Yeah, I could say that the vanadium battery, flow battery, VRFB, has been developed more than almost 30 years. The technology that we bought, all the patents that we bought, has been developed by Onyx, the Korean company, for 10 years. They spent $150 million developing and improving this technology. They deployed 3 batteries. The third one is pretty much like what we are offering to the market. It's a battery that works in Massachusetts, running perfectly. And the concept of the technology is to use vanadium solution in both sides of the battery, the cathode and anode side. And the unique characteristic of vanadium to have 4 valence, 2, 3 in the anode side, and we use the valence 4 and 5 in the cathode side. And it's natural for the vanadium change the valence. You give the electrons and storage and release the electrons naturally. That's why it doesn't degrade, because there's no cross-contamination. It's pretty much safe. No risk for firing explosion at all. And these technologies are proven technology. What was missing in the market is a company that ensured the supply of vanadium and a financial structure that could behave with the volatility of the price of vanadium, which is solved with LPV, as we have said. But the technology is really great.
Just on that, please, because I think it's important. So the VRFBs, again, there'll be lots of people watching here who are new to this, and these are acronyms they're not used to. So vanadium redox flow batteries. The purpose, the design is to ensure a longer term storage than, say, lithium ion, which have got high energy for short periods of time. Vanadium redox flow batteries to store energy for longer periods of time. But hence my next question to you, which is, I say it's a fairly nascent industry. It has been around for a long time, but in terms of the scale and economics that people are looking for VRFB batteries to deliver, where are we globally? Who are the leaders in that? And where do you stand alongside them in terms of the ability of your technology that you're deploying? Because scale is everything, right?
Yeah, the main application for VRFB is long duration stored energy. We're talking about 8, 10 hours. Higher than 6 hours, you can say it's a long duration already. And it's a perfect solution. I'll give the example of solar. It's a perfect solution to deal with the intermittency of this renewable energy generation. So if you're producing energy during the day, how we're going to provide energy for everyone during the night? With the vanadium redox flow battery, you can store a huge amount of energy. The stationary battery, not for cars, not for watches or notebooks, but for the grid application, or a remote grid, or some data centers. That's our application specifically for VRFB. So that's the perfect solution. And for the future, when the renewable energy participation increase in the grid, and to meet all the countries and corporations that they have a target to have a clean energy in the future, I'm talking about 2035, the VRFB will provide that solution. So it's a battery for a very specific application, and the market size is great. Just to have an idea, we are expecting by 2025, the demand for that type of battery will be 30 times more than the vanadium production by Largo. So it's a huge market. And we are really expecting that all this vanadium demand that will be created by the battery will improve the market fundamentals. The market fundamentals will bring new producers to the market, which will be enough vanadium to deploy on the batteries and to fulfill the long duration storage demand.
Understood. I want to talk about money. You've got the mining business where you've been supplying high grade, high quality vanadium products. It's producing cash flows and good net profits, but your eyes are to the future of where our VRFB can do for your business. So are you making improvements with the core mining business too? Because you're not intending on getting rid of that at any point, so it has to continue to run efficiently. So what's happening over there?
Yeah, good. I need to thank you for that question, because both business will behave together. The energy business, but the mining business as well. So at Maracás, in our mine in Brazil, we just disclosure our technical report end of last year, which we extend our mining life for 20 years, and we include the titanium in this operation. And you say, what titanium means? How is this? We have titanium in the ore that we produce to get vanadium. So we are not going to add any effort in the mining side, no additional efforts for grinding, milling operation, but with all the ore that have already vanadium, we're going to recover titanium as well. And that titanium, we're going to produce TiO2, which is a pigment. All the white pigments, for your wall, the white color, due to the titanium pigment. It's a very good product, and we're going to produce. We have a new revenue stream from our mining operation, and as we're not going to add any efforts for the mining, the titanium producer will share the cost with vanadium. So we're going to have a revenue and additional margin for our results at the mining side, but also the cost of vanadium will be reduced, so we can be even more competitive. So just to have an idea, we are expecting to have, when you have all this project be implemented, have an operational margin, an operational contribution of $280 million per year just from the titanium. It's a very important business that we are incorporating to Largo, portfolio.
But if I look at the quarterlies, right? You're kind of consistent. You're 8.5 million, 9 million, 9.5 million. You're all, in terms of net income. Okay, it's kind of consistent. So and given the vagaries of the vanadium market, I could understand why you wouldn't want to scale up, because it can be uncertain. With the new structure, will you be able to scale up the production or in terms of the high grade products that you produce? Can we expect to see more net income out of the core or original historic business, or will it stay fairly consistent?
Yeah, what we're gonna do, implementing the titanium business, is gonna help the vanadium profitability, because we have a lower cost. If you look at the tech report, the cost that we are in our guidance this year of $330 per pound, it's gonna drop to $250, that range. So it's a very good savings in terms of cost. So we're gonna keep generating a very good margin on the vanadium side. We're gonna incorporate that the margin on the titanium side as well. And just having a sense, we are expecting to implement this titanium business in 3 phases. We're gonna produce 30,000 tons of titanium in the first phase. In the second phase, 60,000 tons. And the third phase should be ended in 2027. By the 120,000 tons of titanium. It's about 2/3 of the Brazilian market consumption. So Brazil imports more than this. So all these markets very anxious to have our product, a local production to supply its needs. Besides this, we are expecting to have expansion on the type of vanadium production by 2030. So by the end, we're gonna expand our vanadium production, and in order to optimize all these mining opportunities at Maracás.
Okay, got it. Understood, and thank you for explaining that. Then, with regards to you've been talking about kind of hockey stick demand numbers on the VRFB. I can see that I think we've talked about it in the past, and we've done a few shows on vanadium as well at cruxandburster.com, so you understand that. But at the end of the day, it's going to you've got the physical, you've got the physical component, which is separated out in a separate company. Your technology, I want to come back to that. I mentioned earlier the NL Green Power contract from last July. Has that moved forward? What does that tell you in terms of your ability to not just contract with them, but other people on that technology, and therefore an incremental revenue to the business?
Yeah, when you talk about the energy side. Yeah, in our project pipeline, we have a very good acceptance from our customers or potential customers. They are really excited with the VRFB, and this is a solution that when the market demands, we will be ready to deploy those batteries. So both businesses will behave together. The mining side with titanium and vanadium, and the energy providing the great solution, which is the RV charge.
Right, and just looking to the future for your shareholders or anyone new investors looking into this, is you've got to set expectations, right, with the timing of how you think the VRFB market develops, and more importantly, how you get to a point where you can sort of get in some sort of indication about what it's going to mean for your bottom line, contribution towards your bottom line in terms of sales, in terms of the product lines, I think you'd agree with that. So, in terms of managing expectations, what are you thinking about in terms of when it starts contributing towards the bottom line?
Yeah, if we look at the what we have in our technical report, which is dealing just with the titanium and vanadium, just the mining side, okay? The NPV for the life of mine, it's $2 billion after tax. Just have a sense how good is that business. And we were considering in that study $8.20, the price of vanadium. Each dollar that we add on top of that generate 28 million in our EBITDA. So today is 11:45. So you can see that the business is much stronger than we were considering the tech report. When you look at the all results that we're going to have, we are expecting to have a gross revenue 1.4 million dollars generating as a free cash flow, and by 2030. So that's accumulated free cash flow that we're expecting. Billion, yeah, 1.4 billion. Yeah, of course. And the EBITDA will be in a rate of 400 million per year. So it's a very strong business, just considering the mining side. On top of that, we will have this energy business, generating another additional margin. And we are expecting to have contracts for 1.4 gigawatt hour by 2025. That will be deployed by 2026, 2027. So we have a very promising business. We are really engaged. Our focus today is to develop all these opportunities at Maracás, at the same time developing this energy business, which is going to make a transformational reality for Largo.
Yeah, and I would add, the company's strategy is to be profitable in both pillars, right? We've got the mining business, which it is very profitable, as Paulo mentioned. Energy business, the principle is that, yes, we want to be profitable as well. And, when we look at the value for shareholders, and you see the results of the technical report showing a net present value for the mining business only at $2 billion, that's a pretty significant upside that I think the market is not giving us full credit for. Market cap right now at around $600 million. So the value of the energy business, we see it as an icing on the cake, basically, that is accretive to what we already have. But in solving the problem for the battery business with this Largo Physical, we have created this symbiotic relationship that helps both pillars, which is not included in the $2 billion estimate that came in the technical report. So in the case of Largo, you really have a value opportunity and a disruptive opportunity in what we consider one of the most exciting growth aspects in the market today, which is clean energy.